Hello again. Today is an interesting one. I've seen Yazzie Junior pop up all over like the Facebook groups and stuff like that, and it looked really good along with other games from RetroSouls like Pleuk, I think it is, and Ringo. And I thought, you know what, it's about time I actually played these and had a good look into them. So I went looking on itch.io, or itch.io, whichever way you want to say it, and I got a little bit distracted, and that's when I came across this from 2022. I got it and played it on emulator for a good bit last night, really got into it, really enjoyed it, and yeah, I figured today I'd fire it up on a real Spectrum Plus 2A, which leads us to where we are now. Now, for the first time, I'm actually going to be sat here playing a game that I don't physically own on the Spectrum, it's only the digital file, so I had to use the car radio adapter to load it into the Spectrum. And also, this commentary is not live while I'm playing. I played it through earlier, and this is being recorded later. Right, now that it's loaded up, we can see the story pop up. An evil necromancer holds the land of Twilight in fear. Land of Twilight, huh? Hope there's no vampires. 3 brave heroes set out into the ancient dungeons to put an end to his evil deeds. Well, there you go, our stage is set. I do like that little colour effect and all the stars and stuff on the title screen as well. Looks really cool. Right, into level 1 then, the abandoned prison. It does kind of look like an 8 or 16-bit kind of Final Fantasy game, this, or Ultima 4 on the Master System. This reminds me of a lot because the characters don't actually change the direction they're facing when they move. It's definitely in that kind of a Crypt of the Necrodancer style, where like stuff will only move when you move, and it has like a sort of a rhythm to it, I suppose. Like you can hear it when the little matey moves along, like he's playing a little bass line. It's got like your 3 characters, all of like their own class. Like this is the night guy running around at first, and then there's like a little thief sort of rogue guy that we'll go find down there in a minute. You can see him below us. And then there's also like a wizard guy. They all pretty much represent what you think they would. Like the night guy's best at the melee close range attacks, and the wizard's better at the long range, and the thief geezer's, I suppose, a jack of all trades, not really good at either. He's just kind of there to throw out when the others have used up their stats, really. I suppose it's kind of like attic attack as well, in a way, you know, with your 3 little guys there. But yeah, in this first level, you've got to find your other party members first. You only start with the night geezer. It's amazing how much the graphics do on here with just the 8x8 grid. Like, you know, so much for so little. They're really tiny, not many pixels are being used, but you can really see what everything's supposed to be. It's incredibly well done. The animation's like really cool, the way the characters and all the enemies and stuff and the items that you can collect sort of bounce around, so you know what's active on there. Then anything else that's animated, like the flames and other bits of the background, are just there to add flavour, I guess. Also, the music really suits this. It's awesome. And you can see your stats at the top on there. You've got like your health, and like the shield's kind of like your armour, and obviously the little bottles, your magic. Again, all pretty self-explanatory stuff. It's not like this game needs a mass amount of instructions for you to get the idea of what the hell's going on, really. All the chests around on here are one of the random things through each playthrough, along with like the enemy movements and stuff like that, and the attacks that they would use. Oh yeah, grabbing a key will also spawn some enemies. But yeah, those are the only things that are actually random in the game. Everything else, like the level structure and all that, and the actual enemy placements where they start, are the same for every playthrough. So the trick to this game, I found, is that you kind of want to leave all the items around and only grab them when you need them. Like, you know, whoever's like low on health, you want to grab health for them, or low on the armour, and so on and so forth. Nope, these yellow guys are a bit hard. You can also sort of tell as well, just by looking at them, that they're clearly going to be like long range magic users, because they got like a little something in their left hand. But then you've got the little white guys that clearly look like skeletons simply by the shape of their heads. Again, it's like it's only a matter of like a couple of pixels, but it's just enough to indicate, you know, what's actually going on in here. It's really clever. It's really well done. I love the look of it, and I love how the game plays. It's just great bit of fun. Yeah, you can see there that those chests, well, that chest was empty. That one's some magic, so I'll switch to the wizard for him to grab it. And God knows what's in these next ones yet. More magic. Basically, you want to pile all the magic on him because his long-range magic attacks are the most powerful ones. Again, like the knight, his close-range melee attacks are more powerful for him. And so depending on what you're fighting, whether it's close-range enemies or long-range magic-using enemies, is who you use. Oh yeah, the little portal graphic and that up there. You see the little tutorial for it just now. Even that's just like pretty self-explanatory. You look at it and you're like, okay, I'll walk on that, I'm going to teleport somewhere. You know, it's all incredibly well done. You may have noticed like a little method I do with these green blob guys, like with him coming up here. I sort of lure them in so they step next to me, and then it seems to be like I can hit them twice without getting hit at all. There's not many other enemies you can really do that with that I figured out. It seems to work every time on those guys. Whereas like anything magic-wise, you just gotta stand at a distance, fling your magic at them with a wizard, and hope that they don't fire magic back. You might get lucky, you might not, because it is pretty devastating when they do fling it back, and obviously the wizard doesn't have the most amount of armour and health and stuff. You see me trying a similar method on the melee front with a skeleton guy there. Like, he'll always get a hit in, but it seems like, you know, if I'm using a knight mate, it doesn't do much damage to him, so you can kind of get away with it for the most part. Yeah, these are you can see the skeleton guys here, they do. They're white, and they have slightly different shaped heads than the other ones. They're clearly skeletons, they don't fling magic, or at least not that I've seen, anyway. I'm actually bumbling around in every level, and I'm killing everything. I don't think you actually have to until, like, the 3rd or 4th level, I can't remember. But I tend to go around and just kill everything anyway. And you may have noticed I'm leaving a lot of hearts behind, because you don't really end up using the hearts a lot if you know what you're doing. I mean, I've had a few playthroughs on this now, you know, so that's why I felt confident and just doing it in one hit on the real hardware. But yeah, it's mainly your armour that will suffer. And so, the hearts, until you're in desperate need of them, I just never really pick them up, to be honest. But mainly you want to go around and just grab as many of the other items as you can. Magic is, again, one of the most useful things on here that I've found anyway. And obviously the armour is, because just in case things go horribly wrong. And there we go again, picked up another key, spawned another enemy. That's a common theme in this. So you might want to strategically want to know when to pick up the keys. Right, now as I run into this portal, I believe... Oh yeah, there's a magic geezer waiting for me right there, so quick switch out. I love that you can just switch the characters on the fly, and that doesn't waste a turn, per se. Yeah, it's only a movement or an attack that will, like, kill a turn, whereas, like, switching characters is fine, you can get away with that. Because, again, there's no real need for me to come up round here and kill this guy and get this chest, which was empty anyway. But I just wanted to clear out every level. I said there's only 6 levels in this game, and they're not exactly huge, but they are incredibly well designed. Like, I love the simplicity of it, you know? And again, they look amazing. Like I said before, doing so much with just so little pixels, the use of colour and the limitations, it just really, really suits the game so well. And gives it a nice little atmosphere. Right, I see my matey running on his way towards the exit now. Or at least the main room. Maybe it's this room where it tells me to kill all the enemies. I know one of them does. Yep, use the 2 keys on these 2 doors. What does that scroll say? Yeah, defeat the Ents. Okay. I never actually read what they were called last night when I was playing, so... But yeah, as you can see, those couple of guys are going to be long range there, so you want to sort of methodically choose who you're going to pick off and where. Sometimes I just move around just to see where they'll shift to, just to give me more of an idea of what's worth going for first. But yeah, I can't really praise this game enough. It's just such great little fun, a nice little surprise. It wasn't what I went looking for, but I saw a couple of screenshots of it and I felt like this was just right up my alley. Oh yeah, as you can see, his magic attack there, that did quite a fair bit of damage. You just gotta hope and pray that when you're flinging at them in a straight line like that, that they don't excessively do it every turn, otherwise you're pretty much dead in the water. I mean, this game is quite generous. If you do die, it just lets you restart the level with the stats that you had, I believe. I managed to not die on this run, but yeah, one of my attempts last night, I definitely died a few times. You see there, I'm just making sure my little wizard man's got some shields. Because the knight, mate, even though he's up close and personal and taking a lot of the hits, he won't take as much damage. Whereas like the wizard guy will get a blast by magic and like half his armor will be gone. Yeah, here we go. Kill all the enemies to open the exit. So this is one where you have to do it. You gotta do the lap round, murder everything, and that will make the exit appear. I do love just the sort of design of the areas and that as well, like not just on a graphical front, but just like the actual layouts and stuff. It does have that old school kind of NES era RPG kind of feel about it, you know, particularly again coming back to Final Fantasy, the whole like you'd have your golden path to go along, you know, and then you'd have your dead ends which normally contain treasure and stuff. This kind of merges the two. The treasures are kind of en route along with your enemies and that, but it's always fairly obvious where it is you're supposed to go. It doesn't overwhelm you with like ridiculously elaborate designs, but it's got enough here to kind of keep you busy. It's a nice balance. But yeah, there's so many just nice little touches on it. Even like, you know, being able to walk behind the pillars and things like that, and then you've got the little arrow above your head to tell you that you're there. Just, they thought of so much in here. Yep, when you grab that key, quite a few spawn here. Yeah, you can see those skeletons weren't doing a hell of a lot of damage, so even though I can't like kill them without taking any hits, like 1 damage isn't a big deal. Sometimes you get the critical hits on here and it sort of like wipes out the skeletons in 1 hit with a knight, I find. Like sometimes it'll do 5 damage and you need to do another hit, but then sometimes you'll just get the 6 and they're gone, which is convenient. I wonder if I get one on this guy. Again, can't remember, even though it wasn't that long ago I actually did this playthrough. Yep, there you go, like that. And that's him gone. I'm clearly in not much need of magic at this point as I'm leaving those bottles around. I'm pretty sure I whiz around and collect them all up a bit later when I'm done clearing the level out. But yeah, I've done my lap around. Now in this level, I believe this is one where there's only 1 key, but there's 2 doors, but you can still get round to behind the other door by using the teleport through the middle, so you don't miss anything. Which again, good dungeon design. I like it. Ah, here we go. Yep, this is where I start using the magic. So I'll go through all these sections, clear everything out, and then run back round and grab the magic restock before we go into the next level. And whoever needs what, see our knight's getting his shield there, and Wizard's going to pick that up now, yep. Ah, now these yellow buggers, they take a fair few hits. They are a pain in the ass. Was it like 4? And he's also got 1 back on me there as well. Yep, even with the wizard guy, that's like 4 hits. Those will be the ones that will drain most of your resources. I always find it easier, if I can, to try and lure the characters like the skeletons and all the melee guys close first and get rid of all them before I start taking on those yellow guys. Because as you're like firing the shots, they're closing in on you and whatnot. Yeah, see me, he's trying to put a bit of distance between myself and him there, and hopefully lines up, yep, and then it's just fire away, and just hope you don't get shot too much yourself. There he goes. And then I think that's near enough it. But obviously I can use the teleport to get into that other room there that I couldn't unlock earlier, because obviously there was only the one key. And there is magic in it, so I believe I go for it in a bit after I kill this guy down here, yep. I believe this is the last guy, and that'll make the stairs appear at the beginning. Yep, there we go. Now it's just to hunt around and clear up all the items. In such a simple, fine balance. There's only 3 things you need to pick up, because there's only 3 stats. And the way that it uses them all in conjunction with the way you fight and whatnot, it's, yes, such a nice, simple, elegant little design. Now I believe I'm just whizzing all the way back to the beginning now, and just, like I said I was going to do earlier, just pick up all the crap en route, all those magic bottles for me wizard. Again, the other classes can use the magic, but it's just not as powerful and they don't have as much of it for like their max and whatnot. So that's why he primarily uses it, but by the time you get to the last level, you kind of need to throw everything at everything, because it doesn't fuck around. It throws quite a lot at you. But it's also reasonably generous with stocking you up before you get into the room of chaos in there anyway, so... Once again, all well thought out. Right, so we're out of that level. Now we're into the old swamp. Now this one definitely gives me old school Final Fantasy vibes. I swear there were levels in this in like the SNES era, like Final Fantasy 4, 5 and 6 or whatever. Where again, the main path is really obvious and anything that splits off to the side as you go along is clearly just going to be treasure and other enemies, which it is on here. But yeah, if you go straight along here, you'd be going on the main path. But if you split off and go up and down, there's your little bonus sections. There's me trying to lure the green guy in again. Yep, and he gone. Not sure if you do still have to kill everything to get out of here at this point, but I was just in the habit of doing it anyway. Didn't even need that magic, so up here I come. Probably don't need that heart, but definitely will need the armor. Yeah, this bit works out nicely. Nailed those two pretty damn quick. You'll always see me constantly cycling through just to quickly check the stats of who needs what before I pick the stuff up. There's another long-rangey guy coming at me, but... yeah, they can do some serious damage, but luckily they don't do it too frequently. If they did like shoot at every turn, if you're incredibly unlucky, then you're basically screwed. I've never seen that happen. I think it like forces them to at least take a turn off just to give you a chance. I don't think I've ever seen them attack back to back too often, if at all. If memory serves well. Yeah, just a random enemy spawn there when you're in the middle of doing that. I think that's the only time something like that will happen. More often than not, they only spawn when you, like, walk onto a certain spot and trigger it or grab a key. When I was just standing there and attacking, yeah. You don't really see that very often here, I don't think. Oh, another bit of armour, all good. And now, head back up to the main path again. Yep, see what I mean? Those guys just like spawns there once you cross that certain point. But as these ones are pretty easy, they're pretty minimal risk. That's a nice convenient restock for the wizard. I do like how easy those green slimes are to like clear out once you know what you're doing with them. Here's where things get a bit more interesting. It has a habit of having like the bigger square of rooms like this and just giving you a mix of them and making you sort of pick your way through which ones you want to go through first. There you go, I got myself lined up with him, so he's the first one I'm going to take out. I think I was a bit indecisive here. I was just trying to see which one would come after me first. And I just went in after him, yeah. Got a little bit reckless and panicky there. But seeing as those slimes don't even do a lot of damage if they do hit you, I just thought, sod it, the knight could take it. Now once again, restock on everything. I don't think there's many more enemies left in this one. It opens up 2 staircases when you beat this level, but they both lead to the same place. I did try each one on each playthrough, but thinking, oh, maybe there's an alternative route or something, but nah, there isn't. Not that I'm complaining about that, though. There's limited memory to play with on here in the Spectrum, and what they have crammed in here is a lot of fun, you know. Definitely not knocking it. You know, I was definitely feeling a little confused in that area there, but it managed to work out nicely. I managed to line them up, and I was sort of second guessing myself a bit at first there. So like, what do I do? Wander around a bit, and then they just nicely lined up for me. But yeah, as you can see, a staircase there and one there. But they both go to the next level, which I believe is the Forgotten Path. Which it is. This is the penultimate level. Again, a nice sort of route round, you know. Nicely, simply designed. Just clear out everything and get the hell out of here. And once again, leaving a load of hearts, because it hasn't really got to the point where I'm desperate for them at the moment. Grab that key up there, and now doing the lap round. My favourite easy kills, the little green dudes. I do like that you can just bash through those gates, and then you have obviously the doors you've got to use the keys on, but again, simple couple of pixels difference to make one look like a gate and one look like a door, and you just immediately know what's what. That's me trying to lure him up there. Get a bit of distance. Want to be kind of careful with that in the narrow paths when there's a load of them. It's not too bad if there's just like one guy, but if there's a load of them and you get stuck down there, you're kind of in trouble. Here I am trying it again. Successfully enough. Now if I remember right, behind that gate at the bottom there is the door you want to use the key on. And again, there's no real point in going back round the other way, which I'm about to do anyway because I just like clearing the areas out. Yeah, I'll pop down here, see that the door's there, and then I'll whiz round this side and just grab whatever else I can while I'm at it. And kill whatever else I can while I'm at it. Very much an everything must die. Ooh, now that's a nice little ambush, that one, isn't it? Yeah, there's me umming and ahhing about, do I want to put distance? Do I just want to take him on? I think I'll just give in and go for it now, yep. And that was an unnecessary open of that gate, because obviously that's back to the start, so... Now I run back down to the main path. Oh, more yellow guys. Gotta love them. Oh. Forgot that skeleton spawned straight there. But yeah, this room throws a fair bit at you. So this is kind of getting you prepared for what the last level does to you, because that final room in there with the last boss matey is pretty chaotic. It's got a load of different guys in it, and this is giving you a taste of what that's going to be like. Now the good thing is if there's an enemy between you and one of the long range guys, it will block their attack. Here I'm trying to pick them off one by one, like lure each one down the tunnel one at a time. There you go, so I've got him lined up with me, so he's next. They do tend to sort of get stuck on the corners like that, so you can get away with this. So others will just hang around down there until you've lured a matey onto your line, and then you can just leave them there and come back from later, which is what I was trying to do here. There's another one. As you can see, I'm just picking them off one by one, and just hoping once again that not too much magic gets thrown my way. As my wizard had used plenty of it already, I'm having to employ the other guys at this point. Because that's the other thing with them yellow dudes being around, they're going to suck up a lot of it. I think this is where I'm taking the most amount of punishment so far, as you can see. Cool, there was quite a few enemies in this room. This is where it gets easier now. The knight can just polish off these couple of skeletons. Lucky with a critical hit there. Not so lucky with that one. But there's our exit. There's our last chest. Oh, there were other supplies about, yep. And another monster down there. Pretty sure I didn't leave him alive. It was an everything must die situation. Yep, there I go for him. Again, completely unnecessary damage I've probably taken there, but could have just ran around the other way to get these bits of armour, but who cares? If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it extravagantly, right? And the same drill down here. Right, that is everything cleared out now, I believe. So on we go to the last level. Now, I do appreciate the generosity of supplies that it gives you at the beginning. As you'll see here, they're all just dotted around. I believe the idea is, you know, if you are struggling a bit here at this point, instead of just grabbing it all straight away, just grab what you need, go in, have a bit of a fight. If you need to run back out, stock up and come back in. Obviously, you've got the random chests there, but the actual items that are placed just outside of chests are always the same. So I think it's done that just to make sure that you have X amount of supplies and that you're not completely screwed in this level. Even if you come in here in bad shape. Which is nice of the designers again. There's me cycling through to see who needs what. Trying to make as many calculated decisions as possible before going right into the utter chaos that is in that main room. Right, now there's one last little ambush up here, I believe, before we get to the big one. Yep, it's just a bunch of skeletons, so even though there's 4 of them, it's not that intimidating, really. Though you wouldn't think that with the way I'm backing off, but yeah. I think I was just kind of umming and ahhing about how to approach it there. Sort of overthinking it at this point, knowing I'm so close to the end. Right, do I grab like one last potion and a bit of armor I think up here? Yep. Right, now into the main room. Now, I don't use the method of trying to lure them on the bridges and stuff down here. I just do a crazy dart into the room and try to orientate myself. No prizes for guessing which one's the last boss. I imagine you can just kill him and win, but I tend to go for everyone. I mean, I'm not sure, I didn't try it. I'm still sticking with the method of trying to pick everyone off. At this point, you just throw everything you got at everything and hope for the best. Again, the supplies are all laying around there. You've got your bits and pieces to work with. It's all on you now to make it count. But I found the safest way, the only time I've managed to get through here without dying the first time, is to just run to one of the sides of the rooms like I've done. And then just see what comes your way and try and pick them off bit by bit. And then there's a risky run past our Necromancer there, or right next to him. I grabbed the shield jet and then just leg it. Again, if he'd shot me there, that could have been a big problem, but hey, gotta push your luck sometimes, right? Speaking of which... Yep. As you can see, still quite a few dudes in here, including a couple of them yellow fellas. And then me just recklessly getting shot there as I'm running around and panicking here. I think at that point I'd kind of lost where I actually was and I was just pressing keys like, shit, fuck, what do I do? But managed to get myself over this side, put a bit of distance between me and this lot, and then just start raining down on them and hope to God that I don't take too much damage whilst doing it. Got quite lucky with the yellow guys, to be honest. Right, they're getting pretty trimmed down now. Oh yeah, and at this point, I believe I got the Necromancer stuck on that torch in the bottom left that's just off screen. Didn't intend to, just did it by complete accident, but hey, it worked out well for me so I could pick off the rest of these guys. It couldn't have gone better, really. Yeah, it was just this skeleton and him left, I believe. Yep, there he is. Now I think I shakily tried to lure him away. We have to get close enough for him to not be stuck on it anymore. So there I am fanning around. Alright, come on, come on. And then he comes down, it's like, right. And now I use the diagonal method of trying to put as much distance between me and him as possible. Maybe not, no. I just went balls to the wall with it, okay. I think I'm going to do that in a minute, once he gets a bit too close. Yep, as you can see, this works nicely to put a nice bit of distance between me and him here. And then we line up, and then I'll just unload with everything else I got. Use the last of the wizard's magic. You may have noticed I primarily been using a knight and wizard throughout most of this, and haven't really used this rogue guy much. You know, only as and when necessary, but here he is at the end. He becomes the hero at the end of the day. He's the one to finish the job. And there it is. And that's it. That's the lot. That is Tiny Dungeons. It's a brilliant little game. I know I pretty much showed the entirety of it on here, but I highly recommend you give it a go yourself if it looks interesting to you. It is a good little bit of fun. Again, it's not always going to play out the exact same way, even though the levels and enemy layouts and stuff are identical. The mixing up of what items you get from chests can kind of make or break you a lot of the time, as it has done with me. Did get kind of lucky on this run. And again, the long range attacks and how many get thrown at you or don't. It can spice it up a bit, and it's definitely worth like a few blasts through. Anyway, thanks for joining me everyone and for watching all this. Have a good one, and I will see you later.